Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me, Grand Cruz Astrology. My name is Clayton Cruz, and today I'm going to talk to you about Mars in Aries going square by transit to Pluto in Capricorn. If we think back to late March, right around March 22nd, March 23rd, we had Mars in Capricorn going conjunct to Pluto. It was there for a few days. I think Jupiter was right around there as well. So we had a very intense aspect with these players in late March. And when Mars went over went over Pluto in Capricorn in late March, it brought to our attention the power structures that are in play in our society and our relationship to those power structures. If you remember, I remember in the United States, that's when we had the edict from above that lockdown. Everybody locked down. We have a virus, we have a pandemic, and we need to take appropriate action, right? And so that's what happened. Mars could have easily, in symbolic terms, been representative of the virus, given that Mars rules acute diseases, it rules uh, anything that is sharp, cutting, virulent, right? That is Martian energy. So when we had Mars going over Pluto back in late March, it was very extreme. Pluto rules extremes, extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme conditions. Atomic energy, right? It's just very. It gets all the way into the. I mean, it rules things like all the way into your DNA and your the depths of your psychology, right? I mean, it that's the realm of Pluto. It's the god of the underworld, right? And so when you had Mars going over this part of the sky with Pluto, it brought up some very sudden, very intense, very extreme, drastic measures in an instant, right? Because Pluto has been in Capricorn doing its work very slowly, very thoroughly since about 2009, 2010, when it went into the sign of Capricorn, right? So it's been in there, and it's been moving very slow because from a geocentric perspective, Pluto in the sky it moves very slowly through a sign. It'll spend about 15 years or more in a sign, right? It doesn't move very quickly, and so it goes over every degree very thoroughly, very succinctly. And so the changes that happen, though at times they may be sudden, for the most part, Pluto's just humming along, right? And it went into the sign of Capricorn. And what is Capricorn? Capricorn is about the old guard. Capricorn is about the tried and true. Capricorn is about working hard. It's about corporations. It's about structures. It's about institutions that we've come to rely on. It's about integrity, right? And so Pluto has been coming through the sign of Capricorn and asking a lot of questions. Okay, where is it out of integrity? Okay, where is it not aligned? Where does it need to be changed? Where do we need to transform? What things need to die off so that we can uh, grow, sprout anew, right? Okay, that's what Pluto does. It's death and rebirth. It is transformation. It has a lot to do with power. It has a lot to do with psychology, right? And so that process has been or has been going on for a while now. It's been slow moving. Well, as I said, when Mars hit Pluto in Capricorn, it just turned everything on. It sped it up. It added, uh, it just lit the match, and boom! It's just everything happened very, very quickly, right? And so in unison, we had so much stuff happen. We had everything locking down, everybody taking precautions. Everybody was kind of things were extreme, things were scary. There was a lot of unknown, right? We didn't know what was going to happen or where it was going to go or what was going to happen next, but we were all kind of on the same page. And that would be conducive to Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto all being together in the sign of Capricorn. We were getting the edicts from above, and we were all, as individuals, kind of for more or less going along with the new program, because we didn't know what was going to happen next. There was so much uncertainty there. And so that lasted, for, a little while, right? While we had those planets there together. And then Mars moved on and started doing its thing in other signs. Well, now Mars is coming to the sign of Aries, okay? So Aries is its home sign. Aries is it's a fire sign, it's a cardinal sign, it's very individualistic. Mars loves Aries. Mars is free in Aries. Mars is free to act without thinking in Aries. Mars is, cardinal fire. Mars can just go. It can run around, it can play, it can start conflict, which is what Mars likes to do. It can shake things up. It answers to no one but itself, right? When it's in the sign of Aries. When Mars was in Capricorn, I used this, analogy when I did the video back in March. When Mars is in Capricorn, it kind of it focuses Mars a little bit, right? Mars is it has it can still climb to the top, right? But it has a staircase to do it. So Capricorn's like the staircase of the big building, right? Of the structure, and Mars is the guy with the fireball running up the staircase, right? And so it's very focused. Is the point I'm trying to make with that? Very focused energy in Capricorn. In Aries, not so focused. It's very individualistic, very me first, all over the place. A lot of energy, a lot of possibility, a lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of excitement, but also a lot of potentially impulsiveness, acting without thinking, right? Just all over the place. Here today, gone tomorrow. All right, burn it down and then deal with it later, right? That's kind of Mars and Aries, right? So when we have Mars and Aries going square to Pluto and Capricorn, what do we have? Well, Pluto in Capricorn is about power. It's again about power structures and the transformation of that power. And so we've been Capricorn, in the sign of Capricorn, there's been a lot, as I said, a lot of focus on the institutions that we have, what needs to stay, what needs to go. So that process ongoing, as I said. Well, now Mars is square to that process, if you will. So now you have, whereas back in March we had everybody on the same page, well, now you have this more individualistic energy starting to come forth with Mars and Aries in relation to any company line, if you will, any edicts coming from the power source, these institutions of power and authority, right? Any kind of authority that's systemic is going to be in question right now and possibly acted against, given Mars being in the sign of Aries, a very individualistic sign that is very concerned with self first. It's very independent, in a lot of ways, very, it's very self-sufficient, right? It can do for self. It needs no one, right? But and that energy is coming into direct conflict with this larger energy of yes, but we have, for the greater good of the group, we have these kinds of protocols that must be followed. This is how we do business, and this is what you must attend to. You must respect, right? This is the dynamic that individuals must fall in line with, right? Well, Mars and Aries says, who are you again? Like, who are you to tell me that, I have to do this and that it's necessary, and on what authority? As last I checked, your authority was under a lot of scrutiny, and we're not so sure about your integrity right now, right? To you to be telling us, who are you, right? There's a lot of these kind of questions coming into play right now with Mars in Aries. There's a lot of individual energy that is in contrast to the company line. Whereas back in March, we may have said, okay, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of unknowns here. We'll just do this for a while and see. Now people could potentially be saying, I'm an individual person and this doesn't really jive with me, and I don't necessarily know if you have the integrity to decree this in any given time the way that you were before. I'm questioning that, okay? That's sort of the energy. That's sort of the energy. And it can be very contentious in a lot of different realms. Um, this could potentially be affecting each and every one of us in some way, in some part of our lives where we're questioning authority or questioning power structures or questioning our relationship to it, okay? It could work in the reverse. We could be more aligned with the polarity of the power structure, or that part of the square, if you will. We could be more in part of the, um, you know, align with the tried and true and what is worked in the past and what we need to do to get ourselves out of this as a collective. We could be more in that camp, okay? And this can change at any given moment, right? This isn't we're always this or we're always that. It just depends on the situation, depends on the dynamic. And it certainly depends on your natal chart too, to a large degree, because wherever these planets are is going to affect how you respond or react or act in any given situation, right? So that gets into personal readings. If you want a personal reading, I do personal reading. You can check my website, check that out. But as a collective, just understand this aspect of tension is there, right? It's creating an opportunity. And why do I say opportunity? Well, squares are always about opportunity. It's always about an opportunity to create something better than each of the two energies on their own, right? To find creative solution, right? When you're talking about Mars, when you're talking about Pluto, you're talking about two heavy hitters. These are not lightweight planets. They are not, especially if it's affecting planets in your natal chart, you're going to know about this, right? This isn't something that you sleep through, right? This is here, and it can be very potentially volatile depending on how it is connected to your natal chart. So understand that this aspect coming together at this time and place is creating an opportunity for us to do what? Because action is going to be part of the dynamic. This isn't an aspect and energy that you sit back and watch. This is one that is very likely, especially if it's affecting us personally in our personal charts, it is going to require us to act in some way. All right. So what does that mean? Well, when you're talking about Pluto in Capricorn, you're talking about integrity. Pluto in the sign of Capricorn has been going through Capricorn and really doing a number on Capricorn to get very discerning about what is integrity, what is in alignment, what is transparent, and what isn't, right? And that process is ongoing. It's got another 5 years or so left. So that process has been ongoing. But when Mars makes aspect to it, that's when that process of institutional integrity gets into focus. That's when some action is taken, either with it, like it was back in March, or in this case, in contention with it, with the square, in some sort of conflict with it. So this could be protest. This could be just people acting out or not in congruence with the company line, with the authorities, the powers that be. This could be a contrast of individual will with that of the state, governments, the corporations, the larger system. And we could be, at any given time, we could be in either camp depending on the situation we find ourselves in, all right? We could be an agent of that Pluto energy in Capricorn, or we could be an agent of individual energy in Mars in Aries, right? Or if we are using it to its highest potential, we're finding a creative balance. Balance isn't the right word. A creative solution, a creative outcome that is greater than the two energies that are in contrast, right? It's creative solutions, right? It's not about middle ground. That's what you get when you're dealing with oppositions, okay? This is about using both energies, finding their highest potential, using them to create something better than the sum of its parts. Now, it's very theoretical, I know, and this is very abstract in a lot of ways, but um, the individual advice that I would like to give with this aspect is, because it is volatile and it is going to be with us for a while. This energy is going to be here this weekend, starting on August 14th, right around there. This weekend, at the end of the week, end of the weekend, and it's going to be back around again on October 8th, because Mars is going to go retrograde again, and it's going to hit this same point in the sky in relation to Pluto. And then it's going to go forward again on December 22nd. So what does that mean? It just means that this energy is going to be here with us for a while. And so even though these energies, especially when you're talking about Mars, can be very impulsive, very have a lot of action and not a lot of thinking, all right? Given the longevity of this energy, this stay in Aries, it is asking us to take a little bit longer view here, and to be, even though action may be required, even though it may be to our benefit, and it may be us acting in integrity to create a certain outcome by taking action, just be aware that this period of time where Mars is in Aries, in square to Pluto in Capricorn, this isn't, just for a weekend. This isn't for a week. This is ongoing. So when you're dealing with Pluto, any actions that are outside of integrity, outside of what we know to be in line with our own code, if you will, that's when we create consequences for ourselves and other people that are not to our benefit, not to the benefit of others, right? And Pluto, when it does come down, it comes down pretty hard, right? It is very consequential, and the consequences can be very severe, not only for ourselves but for other people. So that's just the caution with this. Understand this is a very severe energy, and it is asking us with Pluto in Capricorn and Mars in Aries. It's asking us, yes, to act and to be in integrity. And sometimes integrity isn't taking action and facing things, to be in our truth, to not let things just slide or to go hide from it, but to actually be on the front lines and take action in whatever way we need to be in our power and to do that. That's what this theme is about. But with Pluto involved, especially in the sign of Capricorn, we need to stay in integrity. We need to stay aligned with integrity, to be in our truth, to be acting in accordance with what we know is right, right? And with Mars being in Aries, this is about aligning too we're aligning with integrity, aligning with our own integrity, right? With what we as individual people know is the right thing to do in any given situation. This isn't groupthink. This is individual. And on an individual level, making individual choices that are in line with integrity in any given moment, right? And those situations are going to be moving and changing around us a lot here from now till the end of the year. So we're going to be assessing and reassessing and coming up with creative solutions, not just on one day at one time in one space. This could be an ongoing process that we're dealing with. So that's the advice. Stay in integrity and to stay aligned with your own truth. I do see this as an energy that is going to call us to act in some way, in some capacity, to be an active player. So as best you can, stay neutral within yourself, within integrity, because Mars likes the temptation with Mars and Aries, in this kind of configuration with Pluto and Capricorn, the temptation is going to be to get out of alignment and to act out of raw passion and fire and emotion that is just driven by just act first, think about it later, and just go. And just there can be a lot of rage and anger. I mean, when you're talking about Mars and Pluto getting together, the shadow side of that is rage. All right, So that is the temptation. Best you can, stay neutral. Act on this energy of potential confrontation or potential, um, just the potential to be an active participant in whatever capacity you need to within your own integrity. Step into that. Step into it. Don't run from it. Because if you run from it, and I tell people who have Pluto aspecting them in a personal way in their chart, I always say, when it comes to planet Pluto, when Pluto calls, you can either embrace, the power, the personal power that you find you can either embrace power that you find in a personal way, in an empowering way. You can use it to empower yourself and other people, or you can be used by it, right? It's a very all or nothing kind of energy, okay? So obviously this is going to be affecting people in their personal charts in a very personal way. It's going to be affecting us all differently to varying degrees. However, just understand that is there. And if we are called to act and be in power, to act with integrity and to just stay aligned and be as you can be active, you can be in power, you can be a creative product of change and be in a very neutral stance about it. Does that make sense? What I mean by that is you can be a very powerful force in the world to create change and not be driven by erratic passion that acts first and doesn't think, right? It doesn't take that longer view. Okay. So it's a very it's a I don't say it's a tricky energy, but it can be a challenging one to find a positive expression for. But that's why we've chosen to be here as human beings at this particular time and space. We're here to understand how to use these energies to create with them the world that we want, right? 2020 is a time of very intense change. A lot is happening in the sky, a lot of condensed energy, asking a lot of us to integrate, use, and create with. And it's not always easy. It can be very challenging at times. So do what you can with this. There are other aspects going to be happening in the sky. I know that Mars is going to be passing Pluto here into next week, and further along, it's going to make another square to Saturn, and then it's going to go retrograde, and that's going to be a whole nother video of fun that I'm going to get to. It's going to create different opportunities for expression and us to grow and change and create outcome in the world. But that is the caveat. That's the positive side. Is that this is about creativity and change. So though it could be very volatile and severe at times, rest assured, if used in a conscious way, you can create outcomes in your life that can leapfrog time and leave you in 6 months from now looking like, whoa, wow, what a ride, but dang, I could have never done that if I hadn't had the impetus of these energies coming together in the way that they did, right? So use these energies, do what you can, stay aligned, stay in integrity, and I'll make more videos, and I'll see you then. Bye.